In this lesson, we're going to be creating a memory mate template, and then we'll do a quick test to build the composites. You can open up the graphics file that is under the download under the memory mate template setup folder. That's the only file in this folder. I kept it generic just for this lesson. I just want to do something really simple here. And we're going to create slot 1 on the left as the featured slot, and we'll do an array of 12 images on the right side. And so this file here for the graphics file I made 24 by 16. So in the layout designer we will match that. I did this because I know some people have requested or asked about 3:2 aspect ratios. They want to print 8 by 12s. So as mentioned in the prior video, I like to build things larger because you can always print down, but you can't really print up without losing quality. So 24 by 16 will give us the same, it'll give us an 8 by 12 print with the proper aspect ratio. So the image ratio, that's the ratio, remember, of the image slots themselves. So we'll use 4:5 for the image slots that go into it. So for edge margins, we'll have to use custom because what we want to do is build an array of images off to the right. So I think I want to give this a little more margin top and bottom. Also on the right, 1.5 inches on a 24-inch print would be the same as 3/4 of an inch on a 12-inch print. So that sounds about right for this. Margins left. Now let's start with 10 and see how that looks. For text layers, I just want a full name. We'll have to make sure we start with slot 2 because we're only building the array of images. We're not putting in the featured slot yet. And then we're going to go 3 rows of 4. If you hit the fill rows with row 1 count, if you want to have all the rows the same number, whatever's in row 1, when you hit this, it's going to fill the rest of those in with that. So I can see my spacing here. My slots will be 1/4 of an inch apart, and my rows will be 0.4 inches apart. That seems reasonable. Let's hit a create layout preview. Actually, that looks like that might be about what we want. I'm going to do a copy merged and a paste in place just to see. So if you don't like something, so you can use this as a quick way to test to see what it will look like. I think I actually want to space that a little more. So let's go 11. I actually think I'd like the little closer to the right side, maybe. Nope. And again, I'm just looking at the spacing to see what looks about right. Let's hit create layout preview. I think something in there looks pretty decent. I'm not going to get too picky for this demonstration. You can go in and fine-tune yours as you want. I do think I actually, though, like this spacing a little bit better with the 1.5. All right, you might have to go through a couple of times on this to get just what you want. You can just play around and look at your numbers like I'm doing here. I don't know. I'm just going to go with that as my final answer, and we're going to build it. All right, so something like this, it looks okay. Maybe I could have went a little bit different on the margins, but we'll just leave it at this for now. So you see we started with slots 2 through 13. So now I want to add in a larger slot for slot 1 for the featured slot. So I'm going to hit add image slot. And for this, you got your options for your different sizes of smart objects. When it brings in your image slots, it automatically picks, and it picks the one that's not going to ever need to be upsized for your images, or it's going to pick the next largest smart object, so it always downsizes to fit the template and not upsizes. But in this case, we've got a larger spot, so I'm going to pick the 3000 pixel one, and we're going to go text layers full name. Just hit add image slot. And then we will move this where we want it. I don't know, I could spend more time getting everything lined up just like I want, but I am not going to, just for the sake of time here. Now what you can do as well, first thing we'll need to do is I'm going to move the slot one here. You could put it in another group and call it featured image or whatever. It really doesn't matter. It's functionally going to work the same. You just need to make sure that it gets under this easy comp -images folder is where you want it. But what you could do is you could pull in, oops, not what I wanted, it didn't copy. You could pull in your graphics file text just to see where that lines up, and you could line up your image to that or change that in your graphics file. It looks like it's fairly well lined up. I don't know, the snap's not actually really working perfectly here to want to know what to snap to, but that's fine. I'm just going to leave it as such. Of course, you'd want to spend more time on your own getting everything perfect like you want. But after we got the text in there, make sure you delete that out of there, because you want that in your graphics file. That way, if you make changes to it, you only have to do that in one place. All right, so that's it. That's our memory mate. So let's make sure when you save it, you're putting it in into the same folder as your graphics file. You can call it whatever you want in the beginning of the file name, but remember, the end of the file name has to be easy comp, all caps, hyphen the number of images. So this 013 here, which it knew because the layout, actually, yeah, it knew that because when we built the layout, 13 was the last image. So it knew to automatically already add that for us. So that is it. And if you wanted to build multiple template files, you could, of course, delete some images, resave more template files, because remember, the templates are going to be a collection of files. But for this demonstration, I'm not going to do that. So let's just close all these and build our memory mates. Before I do that, clear out this folder here. All right, so let's test this here. So So we'll go to Build Composites. Now, since we're already on that folder, let me grab the template first. Grab that Memory Mate Setup folder. Then this class has 13, so that will fit perfectly. Let's load our CSV file. Right, if we did everything right, this should work correctly. So you see it's put our text in. It's probably not exactly how I would align it up if I was creating a real file here, but since this is just a demonstration, it's good enough. All right, let's take a look at our folder here. These are the memory mates that we just built. So it looked like everything worked there. So that's basically it, but I do want to show you one other thing as well, because I think this could come in handy if you're making your own. So the templates that I make for memory mates, I usually do something a little bit different. You notice on these ones, let's just open a couple of these files here. Okay, when I build memory mates, if there's anything custom that's going to go into the first slot, like custom text and things that I know that the user may want to change, I like to put slot 1 in the graphics file instead of into the layout file. The layout file is going to still start with 2 for the spot on the right, but slot 1 is not in these layout files. So for this example, it starts with 2 down to 32, and the file is named 32. Because how Easy Composites works is when you build the composites, it's going to merge this graphics file into the layout file, so it's going to be a combination of these two. And by putting slot 1 in the graphics file, that way if you wanted to change a font or add some kind of custom borders to this image or whatever, you only have to do that once in the graphics file instead of having to edit that slot 1 featured in all of these layout files. So it makes it easier for editing. If you want to see the exact layout then that I do, how I do it, you'll need to purchase one of those memory mates that I've already created, which everything's set up and ready to run. So a lot easier to spend a few dollars and have this all set up. But if you want to make your own, it's certainly viable using the method that we just did here. But that's how I like to do my memory mates, like I say. But it's up to you how you want to do them. So we'll go to question and answers now, and I'll answer any other questions you have.